So as I told you that we have some advanced concepts in the Tableau to work on. So when we look forward for the advanced concepts in the Tableau, we come across the stats part as I discussed with you earlier. So it is quite a little bit difficult for anyone to go ahead with the charting, which is an advanced charting using the statistics. Why? Because the statistics is a different discipline. Statistics is a different discipline where we require to understand in order to work on the analytics. Okay, you could see that summarizing the data using the constant line, average line, median with quartiles, and the box plot and totals. Okay, and also average with 95% confidence intervals, median with 95% confidence intervals. But I'm just asking you, do we know about what exactly the median with quartiles? Do we know what exactly the 95% confidence intervals? Do we know what exactly the trend line is? Can we understand what exactly that do we mean by the forecast? All of you, can you understand? I'm asking you, can you understand? Okay, some concepts may be known for few people. Exactly. But what is the, how do we calculate the median? How do we calculate an interquartile range? Or how do we understand the 95% confidence interval? All these things can be understood just by a drag and drop over here. But there are some other things like we are required to do that through the calculations in the Tableau. Understand? As a part of it, we need to work with the calculations all together with the visualizations. In order to see the visualizations, we need to perform few more things which are statistical wise. Okay, as a part of it, we are going to, I will just show you an example actually. Let me say there is a scatter plot. Okay, how do we make a scatter plot? Sum of profit. Why? Because that is in between the scatter plot is generally made in between the numerical data. So I just wanted to make this numerical data filtered by customer. Product name. Can we see the things by product name? Even we don't have it something like this. Huh? Then we can go ahead with the order date. Still it is showing you, it is giving us the sum of stuff, but whereas some of the same stuff I need by the customer name. Okay, and if you can see by customer name, you can see the sum of profit and the sales that you have got. And rather saying like that, I will just go with the detail actually. Okay, so now I just wanted to make the analytics on the same. Okay, if you can take a look at this one, let me just go ahead with some sort of coloring only for the sum of profit. See, so you could clearly observe the profit, how it exactly differs between these two, orange and the green line, blue line. And I would just wanted to see a trend line first of all. A trend line is nothing but a regression line, I could say. A trend line is something, whenever I just drag it over here, you could see anyhow that I just wanted to delete this line. Okay, see, a trend line which I'm going to drag and show you up over here, okay, can be considered a trend line which is going to be drag over here can be considered. See, I'm dragging. Whenever I'm dragging, I could see like which trend line that you want. You want a linear line or a logarithmic line or exponential line or a polynomial line or a power line. What exactly that you want? Okay, I'm just going with a linear line. Okay, so if you can take a look at this linear line, generally you could try understanding the profit. Okay, so generally the profit is equal to outcome, whereas 0.72258 into sales is equal to X value, profit is equal to Y value. Okay, and 0.172258 is going to be the slope. Okay, and plus minus 137.5 137.85 is going to be intercept. So the entire total model accuracy is 25.63 percentage. Okay, so you could clearly observe that the r square value, which is going to be 0.25 percentage. For example, if I am going to minimize the kind of data that I just wanted to make use here. Okay, let me just see how I need to filter. I just wanted to filter the sum of I just wanted to filter something like this. I want to group up all these things. See, I want to group till here. Okay, I want to exclude actually. See, I want to, whenever I have selected something, I just want to exclude. See, I have excluded. Now let us see the R square model has improved a lot. Okay, means we have got 64.98% accuracy of the model. So we can make the more predictions based upon this one. So let me just remove few more data outliers that you could see over here. So I just wanted to remove these things. Okay, where I'm just considering these things are an outliers. Okay, so let me just exclude these things. Now let me see. Okay, it was okay, fine. So let me just delete few more data where I'm considering them as outliers. Now, see, you could see like the maximum that whenever I'm just deleting or excluding the data from the given stuff, I could always try getting this. The maximum that I have got is the line from the line. Okay, I have got is 60% accuracy. Okay, this line is giving the 60% of accuracy. So if you just go ahead back, I think this is giving the 64.9% accuracy so far. So which is quite good, I could say. Okay, and also I just want to show you. Let me just rename this one. This is going to be a trend line. Okay, so if you can go to the analytics, you could see that this is a trend line. Okay, this is a trend line. Okay, Saujanya is asking what is the use of the trend line. By using the trend line, you can predict the futuristic data. Hence, we are using this trend line. Trend line will give you the futuristic output. When you have, for example, let me say, you have a data where you are thinking that, see, this is on the y-axis. If you wanted to see this trend line will go something like this. Okay, see, this is the trend line, how it works. See, okay, when you are thinking that your sales are around 15,000, let me say, okay, and you go straight to this trend line, where exactly it is meeting out, it is somewhere here. Means it is expected that you're going to get nearly 3,000 or 3,500 around profit. dollars profit. Okay, for example, when you make, okay, in and around 17,000 sales, it is expected that $4,000 profit is going to be done over here. Okay, full form of R square is nothing but coefficient of determination, Suresh Kumar. Okay, R square means coefficient of determination. Okay, so here, when you wanted to understand the relation between the sales and the profit, this is generally called as correlation. Generally, what do you mean by correlation? Correlation is generally means a relation between the two different variables. Okay, why? Because we are checking the relation between the sales and the profit. So the relation between the two different variables is shown clearly in this particular graph, and generally that is being represented as R square. Understand? So you can also try calculating that same part, whatever the values that you could see over here. So by look, but I can just keep on this, and I can just try understanding this one. Edit trend lines. I wanted to edit this one. Why? Because I wanted to see different models actually. This is a linear model, right? I just wanted to see the logarithmic model, how exactly it is giving me the R square value. See, you could see this is the one where you could see the R square value is really poor. When the R square value is really poor, 29.4%, which is not good for the prediction purposes. So hence I'm just ignoring this one. And let me just try selecting some other trend line. So exponential. So the exponential will go according to the data points, whatever the scatter plot it is showing, it will just turn up in the same way. So if you can just click on this trend line, you could see that it is 42.74% is the R square, which is the accuracy of the model that you are going to get. Okay, so even this is not the quite good one. So you can go for the power. Okay, power is something like this. Okay, whenever you see, so the power represents this one, so which is going to be shown some 56.76 percentage, which is okay, but not up to the mark of general linear trend line. And you can have something called a polynomial. Generally, the polynomial will try to fit the data sometimes. So if you can take a look at this one, this is the polynomial data. You could see that where 74 percentage, 74.06 percentage, which is going to be highest accuracy at this point of time. But later in the near future, we are unsure about how exactly it is going to fit the current data right now. Okay. Yes, generally these trend lines can be used only on the scatter plot. Okay, Saujanya? Yeah. So this is a little bit, in-depth analysis of general charting. When we are doing the charting, these are all the statistical analysis that we would do generally, okay, as a part of data analysis. So now let us see, what do you mean by when we are doing this trend line, we can make an average line actually, okay. But average line and constant line are generally doesn't mean to the scatter plot. So if you just wanted to make this one, but you should be thinking that the constant line, how exactly that you wanted to represent this part. You could see that constant line is somewhere here, which is not showing you the right way of understanding. So generally these constant lines, we don't draw it over here. We will generally prove it, okay, on the histograms and the bar chart. Okay, but still let me just show you on the sum of sales. I just wanted to make the average value. Okay, and if I just wanted to make median or box plot, everything is completely related to the bar chart kind of charts, but not for the scatter plots. Exactly, Saujanya. Yes. Okay. So now you could also see, for example, let me just go back to my original trend line, which is going to be a linear one. A linear one, whenever I'm going to the linear one, so this is the linear one now. Okay, this is the linear one. So when you take a look at this linear one, so Saujanya is asking in real time how we will use this. Saujanya, in the same way, what we are doing, for example, let me say this itself is a real time. I'm trying to identify the futuristic data. For example, I have given a target to the sales team that in the next year, how much that you can expect that you are going to do. They will say some $17,000, sir. I want this trend line to see or to showcase how exactly our profits are going to stand. It is going to stand at nearly $4,000. That is my base reference. It can do more than that or little bit lesser than that. I will just take it as a base reference and I will just keep the target to the sales team. Okay, to get the profit more than $4,000. If at all, if it is below the $4,000, I will keep it as that they have performed really bad in their work. Did you understand? Where exactly you are not able to understand? Suresh, did you understand the concept here? It is very simple business concept, right? Saujanya? Generally, this is nothing but a linear equation. All the data which was scattered over here needs to be represented one single line on which that we are going to rely on. Okay, how exactly that our sales and profits are related, right or wrong? So generally, these are all the little bit depth concepts that I could say. Okay, why? Because statistical implementation, complete a data analysis. Generally, we do this one. This will be done by the data scientists basically. Okay, while I'm teaching this artificial intelligence and the data science, okay, we will do this one in terms of the Python programming language. Okay, we will do the programming basically, all these things. But here in the Tableau, we have direct drag and drop, which is going to be very exciting stuff, first of all, I could say. So very easy to understand. Suresh, can you understand? Riti Mugdha? Mugdha, can you understand the concepts? What I'm explaining now? If you have any questions, please raise them. Okay, why? Because I would like to uh, know if you have any questions so that I will try to clarify you. Okay, yeah, got it, all of you. Hmm. Okay, now we understand this part. Now you could see the average with 95% confidence intervals, but here there is no chance of looking after this part. Why? Because this is looking for table or pane or cell kind of stuff where I'm not able to see any sort of confidence interval stuff. Why? Because this is completely going to be a bar chart. In the bar chart, you can identify these confidence intervals. Okay, even Tableau was not able to provide the valid confidence intervals identification for the scatter plot kind of stuff. Okay, if I want generally, okay, let me, you can see, I will show you, describe the trend line. So if you wanted to describe more about the trend line, you can try understanding this part. And also, I just wanted to show you. I can also edit trend line, how exactly it needs to be represented. Okay, rows and columns and all kind of stuff. So we can describe the trend model, how exactly, what exactly that this fellow has used the formula in the background. Okay, so this is how that we can try understanding this part. Okay, so sum of squared error, some squared error, and the mean squared error, r squared, that which I told you that. Okay, this is the standard error, p value. All these things are completely related to the statistical environment. Okay, so we have something called a cluster over here. So forecasting and all things that we should see in a different environment. Okay, not in this environment. So let me just go ahead with some other stuff. So when you take a look at this analytics, okay, for example, let me say that you wanted to cluster the data. The same scatter plot will work for the clustering the data. So what I'm saying, let me say sales and the sum of profit, which is going to be filtered by the customer name. Okay. Now, I wanted to implement the cluster. What exactly that do we mean by clustering? Whenever if I just wanted to cluster the data, see, just first of all, what exactly that do we mean by cluster? First of all, let us discuss about that part. Hmm? Cluster means different segments basically. Okay, a type of things which could be clubbed together and created as an entity, and multiple entities which needs to be separated between them with a certain kind of quality can be understood as a cluster. So if you can take a look at this one, I wanted to implement the cluster, so hence I have just dropped it on this one. So how many clusters that I have taken, I have made here? Hmm? Anyone? I have made how many clusters? Two clusters I have made. One is shown in the orange in color, another one is shown in the blue in color. So if I just want, see, this is an automatic number of clusters. If I just wanted to make three and say S, see, it has taken three different clusters right now. For example, I just wanted to make five and just say enter. It has come completely clustered and it has separated into five different clusters over here. Can you understand the clusters environment? Otherwise, I just wanted to make it only three, the center. Can you see that three different clusters where the variables are profit and sum of profit and the sum of sales? So all these three things, why? Because maybe I'm segregating, okay, the people who are making the lesser amount of profit, okay, or certain qualities in order to come under this particular cluster, okay, are the people who are getting under this cluster and the people who are getting under this cluster. So I can just make a, exactly, it is dividing. If you wanted to, if you wanted to make some definition in order to make such a kind of division, okay, it will make, or it will give you more clarity about what exactly that you are doing. Okay, for example, if I just wanted to, maybe I'm just trying to figure out this part, who are making the lesser profit, very lesser profit. See, while I'm coming back, you could see the zero profit or minus the even. Okay, so when we are going for a new customer, is that customer is going to come under this cluster or this cluster or this cluster? Otherwise, which is the cluster which where a common average customer is coming into? Is the high-end customer or a low-end cluster, or what exactly? Which cluster? Cluster one and cluster two? I will just rename these clusters like poor, middle class, and the rich. Otherwise, I can make these custom segments as who are shopping. Okay, what kind of shopping they are doing actually? What kind of material that they are trying to buy from us? I can make those kind of clusters also. So I just wanted to define which kind of, so describe clusters. You could see that variables. What are all the variables that we are using here? Sum of profit and sum of sales. Level of detailing. Level of detailing we are doing it generally using the customer name. And the scaling is generally normalized. Okay, and the number of clusters is 3. A number of points that we have segregated into 3 different clusters are 793. Okay, so we have, these are all the 3 different types of clusters. In cluster 3 that we have 30 items, cluster 2 that we do have 188 items, and cluster 1 we do have 575 items. Okay, you could see the sum of profits is more in the cluster 3. Okay, but sum of sales are more in the cluster 2, but it is lesser in profit. Huh? Sum of sales is great in the cluster 3. Vice versa, we have good profits. Understand? So, for example, if you can see, if you want to scale this one, scaled centers give you some point values. Okay. So anyhow, this is how that we can implement the clusters. Okay. Any questions so far here? Clustering the data. You can always try editing the cluster when you wanted to edit. If you wanted to add more number of variables, you can add. Okay. And if you want to sort the clusters, you can. Okay. How you want to sort the clusters? You want to sort the clusters or by the data source order or by the manual order or however you want. Okay. Anyhow, that I'm just closing it. Okay, got it. Okay, Saujanya is asking, can we sort the data in terms of the highest scale sales and lowest sales, right? This is what you wanted, right? So basically, when you wanted to format this cluster, okay, I'm sorry, not format. See, when you wanted to edit these clusters, you cannot edit in terms of the way that how you wanted to do it. See, measure, it's a measure, just a measure, that's it. If you want to remove one, you can remove. You can't make any other changes over here in the cluster. Understand? If you want to make it out 6 clusters, you can make it out. That's it. If you want to make it out only 3 clusters, okay, take it. That's it. Okay, otherwise, for example, let me say, as you asked, if you wanted to do something like that, you can create a group. We have a group, right? Right or wrong? Huh? Sojanya, we have a group and we have a set. But this cluster will not work something like that. Highest values, it is not the way how cluster works. Basically, how cluster works, let me tell you. There will be something called a centroid. It will take something called a centroid. Okay, if at all, if we ask the system to make the clustering of the entire data, it will take the entire data into the consideration first. Okay, and where it requires, it will understand that it requires to make it into three divisions. Why? Because we have given it has to divide into three different clusters, right or wrong? Right. So it has to divide into three different clusters. Now, when it has to divide the things into three different type of clusters, then here you should definitely understand one thing. What is that? Whatever the division that you are making it out between three different clusters, it will make a centroid and it will make the nearby entity as orange in color, something like that. It will have its own limit unless it is going to touch the border of the other cluster. It will continue adding up whatever it is having it in within its limit from the centroid. Even this one in the same way, even this one in the same way. Okay, so there is a one sort of algorithm in the background which will be running in the background tableau, where it will take that reference and it will calculate this particular cluster. Hence you are having this particular data, something like this. According to the number of clusters that we have made, we have 575 clusters. I mean 575 items in the cluster 1, 188 in the cluster 2, and 30 in the cluster 3. It is all about the distance. Understand? It is all about the distance and the centroid or the center point over here. All of you understand? No, 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 no. You should not say something like that, Saujanya. Saujanya is saying Tableau automatically divide the data into clusters. Yes, I will agree that statement. But we cannot say we can't divide it manually. We can't divide them. We can divide them manually by making it as a group, if at all, if you want. Understand? Okay. But you can't create a cluster, something like that. Okay. Why? Because cluster go ahead with one formula in the background, as I told you. Even though if you wanted to do it manually, it is not a manual operation. It has to go through a formula. Even if you implement a formula manually, it has to follow the same. Understand, Saujanya? It is not at all about, see, if at all, if you wanted to divide the data in terms of the profit, you can just select it, right? It is very easy rather than using this cluster also. You can select right away something like this. See, you can select the data something like this. Which profit that you want, how much profit that you want. You want more than 2000, just select, take the reference band. That's it. You're going to select this one as a group. Select it, that's it. Group it or create a set something or however you want. Hmm? If you wanted to make the trend line for this one, you can see the trend lines. So, however, anyhow, that I'm see, you could see the three different trend lines. Why? Because it is considering those three different types of data as three different types of trends, three different types of clusters. Hence, for each and every cluster, you could see a one trend line. Okay, got it? Yep. Okay. So anyhow, that I'm just ignoring this part. So this is how that we can do the clustering. Okay, and then next. Okay, so we have understood something like this. So now let us go ahead with another bar chart. So in this chart, where I just wanted to implement some sort of same sales data, okay, sales data based upon some subcategory. Okay, I wanted to show something called a sales data based upon subcategory. So as a part of it, I just wanted to see, I just wanted to make this. This is continuous, okay, and okay, everything is fine. So I just want to sort this sales in the decreasing order, something like this, first of all. So now if I just wanted to make a constant line, this is the constant line. See, I'm trying to make a constant line. What is this constant line? This constant line where you can always create a constant line. What exactly that do you mean by the constant line over here? Huh? A constant line is something that where you are trying to give one particular value over. Okay, so here, if you can take a look at this one, this is the reference line. Okay, we have got already here. Okay, so we have this particular constant line. You can always go ahead and format and remove this one, or you can set a one particular value of this constant line where I just wanted to set this edit, and I just wanted to make this constant line in a different mode. See, this constant line, I just wanted to make it rather than saying minimum. Okay, otherwise I just wanted to say minimum, sorry, maximum. That is a maximum, this is a minimum, and average. So I just wanted to set some of the sales average. Okay, and if not, I just wanted to make some constant value is going to be the $50,000. See, can you understand this one? If at all, if I just wanted to make a constant line, I can make a constant line, something like that. Okay, so for example, I just wanted to you could see that label, you wanted to make a label or a computation. So okay, and none is fine. And here I want something to be represented in terms of, okay, and hold something like this. So this is a baseline. If I'm going to think, this is a band. When I say band, it is going to give me in which band I would like to see that all the sales should come under. So the sum of sales, whatever, okay, it is being average. Okay, I want to take out this band wherever, however it is going to be. From which band to which band? Okay, actually for from which band I wanted to make it as a constant, and this constant value is going to be 50,000, and to which band I wanted to take an average of this one. Okay, so the line which is formatting is should be something like this, or something like this. See, here you have the difference. Hmm? Understand, all of you? So how many different categories have crossed that band, and how many are just lying in the inside that band, okay, will give us a clear picture about the business, huh? Which are all below the constant line, which shows the supplies, art and envelopes and labels and fasteners are making the really very lesser business as per the expectation. Right or wrong? All of you understand this part? Okay, now if you can take a look at this one, and let me just go ahead and edit. You could see there is a distribution. You can always try adding the distribution at which average that you want to do it. Okay, at what percentages or at what percentiles. I want at the 90 percentile or 99 percentile actually. Okay, then I can go ahead and do the labeling and everything. Okay, if at all, if I just want the 90 percentile, this is the 90 percentile or 80 percentile. Okay, or quantiles, which quantiles that I want. I want an upper quartile or the lower quartile or the median or something like that. See, I want divide the entire data into 10 different stuff or 5 different stuff, something like this. Okay, so you can make the percentages, percentiles, all this kind of stuff. You can make it out over here. But this is Tableau is awesome actually in terms of statistical representation. Okay, at a time. Why? Because as a data scientist, that I could say, generally we used to do the programs, okay, on in terms of the Python in order to show many things over there. And also there are many things where this Tableau can't do basically. Okay, these are all the things which are basics basically, which we can do something with Tableau. Okay, not all the things can be done through the Tableau by the data scientists. Okay, so okay, so I could say something 60% above the average, and okay, I will give you the data set, Saujanya. You can try performing. Okay, I will send you the data sets tomorrow for all of you. Okay, please try doing, okay, clustering, trend line, and working on all the different trend lines. We have a 4 or 5 different trend lines, right? Please work on all the trend lines and let me know which trend line is working for the given data. Okay, definitely I will provide you some things to do this one. Okay. Why? Because trend lines and clustering is the most important part, I could say. Why? Because trend lines and clustering is something which is a little bit more statistical part. If you could see this bar chart, can't you understand this constant line? Can't we understand what is an average line? Average sales. What do you mean by average sales? What do you mean by constant line? Constant line is something that we are taking it as a base from which that we are trying to calculate, or from which that we are trying to target, right? Right or wrong? Median with quartiles. Median. What is the median range of this particular data? Where exactly it is relying on? Hmm? And the totals, if you wanted to make the totals, row totals, grand totals, everything can be seen over here. Okay. Anyhow, I will show few more things, okay, about these particular stuff like confidence intervals and median with 95% confidence intervals, and reference line and reference band, all these things in the tomorrow session. Okay. Let me just rename this one. Okay. Okay, thank you. See you all tomorrow again. Bye.